How do, and welcome back. Well, I've just been tidying up my little corner here, getting it ready for the summertime, my radio corner, because summertime is really good for radio communication. So I've just been tidying everything up. I've been taking part in an American what's called a net, which is basically where a lot of amateur radio guys, we all get together and we all speak in turn. That's good. I'm now actually
G tips, golf papa tips, GB
I
tips,
was
that's the nice.
I was just been listening to this isn't amateur radio, this is what's called Zello. It's a bit like CB. You know, you've got what looks like a radio and a microphone, and but it's actually an Android device, and you don't need a license. It's free, and that's very popular. There's many channels that you can go on, people from all over the world talking in English, fortunately. Anyway, I then thought I'll have a beer, and this is my Saison, and I thought I'd give it a go or try it today, because I've just watched a video from Simple Homebrew, Pierre. He's just reviewed a commercial Saison, and I thought I'll see what this tastes like. I brewed this maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and it was just a 12-litre batch. It was my raw method of brewing, where I just use dry malt extract. I don't boil, I just use boiling hot water from a kettle to mix it all together, dilute it, and then I use an isomerized hop extract for bittering. And with this I didn't use any aroma or flavour hops, because I wanted to taste the yeast, as it says on after all. So I used Belle Saison yeast, and it fermented for about, I would say, 10 days, and then it's been in the bottles for 2 weeks. But what I did with this beer is I used gelatin for the first time. It was an experiment. I've used gelatin, and I added the gelatin about 3 days before bottling, and it's been in the bottle now for 2 weeks. Nicely carved. It took a long time to carve. I think that's because of the gelatin. That was the only variable that was different anyway. And I can say now, that is absolutely clear as a bell. Almost commercial clear. So what I've done, well, let's have a taste first. Aroma is just as you would expect, because there's no hops in it. It's just all of that Belgium Saison yeast aroma, with a little bit of a light malt, that biscuitiness. And as it's such a simple beer, the flavour is exactly the same. Light biscuity malt, nice level of carbonation, and then you've got that lovely Belle Saison yeast flavours. You've got some pepperiness right at the back. I didn't overbitter this with the extract. It's probably about 18 IBU, which allows that peppery spiciness at the back to really show off. And you've also got cloves in there. There's some banana fruitiness. It's a really nice beer. That is a really nice beer, and so simple. It took me about 5 minutes to put together. And then, as I said, it was about 10 days fermenting, and it's been 2 weeks in the bottle, because I think that gelatin means it just takes so long to carbonate and to condition. But that looks a decent beer. So I've used the gelatin in my Vorsteiner. I thought, why not? That's in the bottle. Yeah, if it looks like that for a lager, that's perfect, isn't it? So yes, my Vorsteiner is in the bottles. I bottled it last night, so it was actually, I'm a bit concerned about it, because I used Kveik, Lutra Kveik, which flocculates very quickly and very efficiently. So I brewed it on a Sunday. You saw the brew video. And then of course I was going to Dublin on Thursday and Friday. Now I made a mistake. I forgot to add the gelatin. It had finished by Wednesday, finished fermentation, and I forgot to add the gelatin before I went to Dublin. So I comes back on Saturday, checks the hydrometer again. Great. It's probably about 4.8%, something like that, I think. It started at 1050, which was absolutely bang on to the recipe, what the recipe said. 1050 starting gravity, and it was bang on. It dropped to 1010. So I think it was a Saturday afternoon I added the gelatin, and then I've left it for 3 or 4 days, because that was a 19 litre batch compared to just 12 like this. So I left it at like an extra day longer, and then I've bottled that. Now my worry is, will it carb? Because with Kvite you've got to really be on the ball because of that flocculation, and you can be putting very little yeast into the actual bottles, and this is a well-known problem. And of course then I've added gelatin on top, which is going to help to drop everything out as well. So I'm just going to be a little bit mindful and keep watching it. Now for my next beer that I'm going to be doing, the next extract beer, I'm going to be brewing Pilsner Urquell. And so what I've done is I've actually bought another sachet of Lutra. Not that I need to, because I salvaged all the yeast from the bottom of the bucket, and the reason is it's pretty expensive. Kvite yeast is about double what you would pay for, say, a USO4, USO5, you know, Nottingham yeast. It's like double the price. So I didn't really want to buy another sachet because I'd already harvested the Lutra from the bottom of the bucket. However, if it doesn't carbonate, if it's 2 or 3 weeks and it's still, the bottles are just like, you know, squidgy, what I can do, and I've seen a video about this, is you just take just a few grains, open the bottles and just sprinkle a few grains, we're only talking very, very little, into each bottle, seal them up, and it will start carbonating. It will start that secondary fermentation, and it will start that carbonation again. So I'm going to keep my eye on that. Flavour wise though, I am going to be using Lutra for every single lager in inverted commas or pilsners that I make from now on. I mean, it is just so clean, and the attenuation is high, and you get a really nice dryness at the back end. Oh, it really is. And of course that dryness promotes the bitterness, so you get a lovely satisfying bitterness. But the malts, with those specialty malts, there's got a nice malt, just like a Vorsteiner, with that nice maltiness to it. I'm not going to I'm reviewing it now, aren't I? I should be talking about Belle Saison. I'm going to use Lutra now for every pseudo lager I make. So that's why I bought an extra sachet, just to sprinkle in the bottles if I need to. But my God, ingredients these days are getting really expensive. I think this Pilsner Urquell that I'm going to be brewing, it's going to cost me about between 80p and £1 per bottle, and it's just dry malt extract. Dry malt extract. I didn't have to buy any specialty grains because it uses Carahels, which I've got from the Vorsteiner. SARS hops. It only uses SARS hops, but I've had to buy 2 packets because the recipe calls for 100 grams just for bittering. So I had to buy 2 packets of them. It came out to about, I would say, with the yeast, which I didn't really need to buy because I've harvested it from the bottom of the bucket, but with the yeast and delivery it's close to £40, and the recipe is 19 bottles so it's more, just over £1 a bottle. The 3 kilograms of extra light dry malt cost 22 quid. I think the days of these 40-50 pound home brews are over. I imagine there's going to be a huge spike as well in kits, in the can kits. I think we haven't seen it yet because of course shops have, you know, backlog of supplies. But I think they're going to start to go up quite steeply in price, because the benefit of like extract or all grain was that it was cheaper than the kits. So the kits were the most expensive, then extract brewing was just below that, and then you had all grain just below extract. So I'm imagining that the kits are going to go up. If all the raw ingredients are going up, the kits have to go up, don't they? So I think these days of 40-50p homebrew bottles are gone. So, and even for like hoppy craft ales, you know, pale ales, IPAs, hoppy, crafty, you could make them for 70p a bottle. You know, that was expensive. So anyway, let's get into this. For such a simple beer, that is bloody good. Oh well. Oh, another thing. I'm going to start another harvest of wild yeast. So I'm going to make up some wort. I'm going to put it in the jar because all the blossom is out on my cherry tree at the moment. And it was about this time last year, I think, that I did it last time, and I had some really good results, didn't I? So I'm going to try and replicate it. The wild yeast from last year, now it's given up the ghost. I don't think it's, well, I've thrown it. I don't think it was useful anymore. It's getting very gloopy for some reason. So I'm going to put some wild yeast on this week and see if I can harvest some more wild yeast. See if it's the same as last year, and then do some more experiments with my wild yeast. Right, that's it. I've got to get back and start tidying all this up. But thanks for watching. This is, like I say, this method, they're not stellar beers, they're not outstanding, but if you just want a quick beer, they're ideal. It's really good, saying that it only took about 5 minutes to put together. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. Saison, and it's perfect weather. It's sunshine. It's quite warm actually today. I think it's about 16-17 degrees. So I don't need a coat on. I can just put my jumper on and I'm fine. And that's the seasons where, you know, it's called Saison for season, and it's this sort of weather that these were created for. So I'm going to enjoy this. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and as always, I'll see you again in the next video. Bye bye for now.